All sports, all plays. Yeah. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making up plays. You talking the game, get you to the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics living the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays. Yeah.
All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome to G.W.R. Live. Thursday, October 27th, 2022. Got a big show for you guys. I'm joined by my dad, Tony Gonzalez, like normal. And we got special guest, the number one overall pick, Blake Money, right? How's it going, Blake?
Doing good. How about you guys?
Doing good. Just been staying busy doing shows.
Hey, well, there you go. Yeah. Congrats on how busy you guys have been and on your guys' continued success.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, we appreciate that. But you've been busy as well, and you got a big weekend coming up this weekend.
Yeah, for sure. And I think actually here in a what is it, a month? I think you, me, and Walt are going to Cincinnati. Is that right?
Yep.
Yeah, that'll be cool. But yeah, looking forward to that nice little road trip to Cincinnati. So, but no, definitely have a big weekend. So, tomorrow night at WCW, me and Vinny, and the main event for the title. That'll be fun. I mean, that's not the only good match tomorrow night. You know, you got. I'm really looking forward to watching Logan and JKO. That'll be fun.
Be good.
And then Jordan James and Dalton Love. It'll be a good card. So tomorrow night will be a hell of a show. And then Saturday, facing Heath Slater. So in South Bend, CW. So that'll be a good time too. So definitely a big 48 hours coming up for
him. How you getting prepared for this big match Friday night, WCW against a veteran? I mean, I know you've been wrestling for a while now, but Vinny's been at it, I don't know, 15, 20 years. So how do you prepare, and the stipulation of this match? Can you go into that a little bit?
Yeah. So really, I mean, I'm sore from last week. So I had 3 matches in one night. That was pretty intense. Then I just turned around 2 shows on Saturday. So I'm feeling the effects, but you know, preparing like this, you know, really the night before a big match, really I'm just relaxing. So usually just hanging out at house, like usually get off work, go work out, kind of chill out and mellow out. I've learned the power of me time, and really just chilling and hoping that he doesn't bust my head open tomorrow night. So, because I feel like my face is all that I have going for me some of these days. But no, I mean, it'll be a tough match for sure. You know, anytime you're in the main event for a championship, it always has that big fight feel. So, you know, just trying to rest up. You know, tomorrow night is going to be a long night with Vinny.
Have you ever done a first blood match before?
No, I've not actually. I've bled in the ring before, but I've never actually had a first blood match. So, you know, it's an interesting concept, and pardon my dog in the background barking if you guys can hear her. But I think
I'm surprised my dog isn't barking
in the backyard or something. What's that?
So I'm surprised my dog isn't barking yet. He usually waits till I get on a show and he starts barking.
Yeah, I've recently moved to the country, and anytime a deer's in the backyard, she goes ballistic. But yeah, no, I've never had a first blood match, so I'm looking forward to it. You know, it's unique. I've been watching some old blood matches just to kind of get ready for it. But it's a neat concept. You know, it's it's a different match. You know, usually you used to win a pinfall, count out, or submission. So for it to just be blood, where, you know, on a fluke strike you get busted open, it's definitely an interesting match to prepare for, to say the least.
Yeah, it should be interesting. Also, you said you had a big match coming up Saturday night. We'll talk about that a little bit. Heath Slater. I mean, that's a pretty big opportunity. Pretty cool.
Yeah, it definitely is. My nerves are always amplified, you know, whenever I'm in the ring with someone that, you know, has been to, you know, where I want to be. You know, I remember being a teenager and watching the build up of the episode of Raw and watching him wrestle all those legends and being a one-man band and being a Nexus. And, you know, he's definitely stayed busy now. Now he's with Impact. And, you know, seeing, you know, when I first got heard that I was going to be gifted that match, you know, that was awesome. So definitely looking forward to it. I've actually talked with Heath a little bit before the match, and, you know, he seems like a cool guy. You know, I talked some smack about him, so I think he's ready to shut me up. So that'll be fun on Saturday night. That's in at RCW at the Goodson Event Center in Indiana. So I believe that show starts at 7. So if you don't have anything else to do, you know, maybe watch the game in South Bend, and then you know, head on over to RCW. So
Is there a different preparation going into a match like that? I mean, I know you prepare for all your matches, no matter, you know, who you take on, but going against a guy that's, I guess you would call maybe a little bit bigger name. He's, like you said, he's been where you want to be. Is there any different preparation?
you know, it's I don't know. It's you know, just trying to calm the nerves. I mean, as much as I can go into it, try not to laugh at what Mike King just said here. Well, I was getting tired driving home, thought I would turn this shit on, and still almost wrecked my car. Damn carnies. He's talking about my he still owes me a pay envelope. That's why I called him a con bastard. All right. So Mike King still owes me money, and he knows it. So, you know, he a pay envelope, okay, and it was a couple $100. You know, because I'm a very, very expensive talent. So, you know, he put in 3 $100. That doesn't cover it, Mike. You still owe me money. I'll see you at Walt's show. But you know, with Heath, man, it's you know, it's a unique match. You know, I can't just treat it like it's any other match, you know, because the nerves will still be there. But really, in a situation like that, I just try to, you know, just remember to have fun. You know, Joey will always tell us all that on Fridays. You know, is to go out there and have fun, because sometimes it's easy to get wrapped up in all the other BS and pro wrestling. But just to go out there and have fun, that's what the important thing is. So.
And, I know this is down the road a little bit, but you're gonna be taking on ladies man Mike King here before too long, a month or so away.
Yep.
So that should be interesting. And if I remember right, that's the first time ever, right?
It is, yeah. It's the first time ever. No, we've never been in the ring. I cost him his last match at Under Blunder, because he's actually another booker, Buck Sexton, and you know, I was Buck's champion at that time, so, you know, I had to bail him out. So, you know, had to take care of business. But no, it's the first time me and Mike King have ever wrestled, surprisingly. So, you know, I'm sure he's looking forward to it, because it's going to be the night of his career. But for me, you know, it's just another night, you know. So hopefully I can teach the kid a thing too about this business, you know, when I'm in the ring.
Have you been in the ring with any other like names or guys that have been to like WWE or been where you want to go?
Yeah. So the first name I worked actually at one of Mike King's shows, DCCW. It was against Calvin Tankman, and Calvin just beat the hell out of me, taught me a lot, and you know, now me and him are boys, so that's dope. And then after that, there was TJ Perkins. TJP really helped open a lot of doors in my career, and I remember going into that match thinking I was really good, and I left that match thinking, like, man, I'm terrible, because he was just light years ahead of me. And I was kind of taking on a mentor role for me, so that's really cool. You know, anything that you've seen lately in the ring has kind of been inspired by him. Shannon Moore, Boss. I'm sure, as bad as this sounds, I'm seeing a few, but Madman Fulton, lately I wrestled him in RCW too. So I've wrestled before. You know, I've wrestled Congo Kong. Congo Kong was on Impact.
Yep.
You know, I've wrestled several names, and you know, usually it's a great opportunity for someone as young as I am in the business, because I can learn. I'm going to sit back and I'm going to have a great match, but I can also I can learn from them, you know, and there's going to be, you know, that I didn't think would work. Like, I remember going to my match with Shannon Moore, and I was so stressed out. I was like, man, I don't know if this is going to work. I think we should do this. You know, I'm just going to sit back and be humble. Like, who am I to talk to Shannon Moore? And I remember going back after that match with Shannon Moore, and I was like, holy shit, like I don't know anything about this business. So I've learned whenever working with them, just to try them, and just sit back and learn. And, it's a great opportunity to make yourself a better professional wrestler. And I'm very fortunate, being 2 years in now to have wrestled some of the guys that I've wrestled.
Being 2 years in, what's been the hardest thing about the independent business? Is it getting your name out there, or is it trying to like have time to train?
Man,
What do you think's been the hardest?
I mean, you learn there's a lot of people that are going to come and go. You're uh, um, you're going to lose friends, and that's not just in the business, but in real life. Like, I used to hang out certain people that, I rarely talk to nowadays. And it's tough, because like a year ago, I used to wrestle for a place every single Thursday in Jeffersonville. Then I would get home at like 3 or 4 in the morning. And then I would wake up at, 6:45, go to work the next day. As soon as I got off of work, I would go to WCWO. Then I'd have a couple beers with some friends. Then I'd wake up, make another town on a Saturday. And then a couple hours sleep to make another town on Sunday. And then before I know, my alarm clock's going off on Monday. So, and when you're on the indies and when you're working, 40 hours a week too, like it's tough because like you have such little free time. So I think it's a combination of just like the constant grind and, just losing friends and having relationship change because, having, and it could be over simple stuff. Like you're getting on bigger shows than them, or you got an opportunity that, you were kind of lucked into. And that's the hardest thing. So.
All right.
Mike King said, sold out for $1. Teach me. I'm a Christian. I'm not going to say those next 2 words. I'm going to have to slow you down, okay, and take you out piece by piece. All right. Well, if we're going to have to slow down to your rate, the show might last 2 days, Mike. So let's not do that, man. Let's not bore the people here. Let's wrap it up real quick. All right.
He hates everyone.
Oh, I mean, hey, if I were him, I would hate it too. See, I'm Blake Money Wright. No one ever treats me like that. So, I can't relate, but I get why he hates everyone. If I was Mike King, I'd probably hate everyone too. And I would hate myself, most importantly.
I did have a question. I want to go back to when you said you took on Conga Kong. How was it being in the ring with Conga Kong? Such a huge guy. How was that?
It was a good time, man. I was laughing at the hashtag rest holds. That's a story for another day. But I mean, being in there with Congo Kong was pretty cool. So it happened at WCWO. I knew of Kong, well before then. Being some of my first independent shows, I remember when he was Osiris. So that was dope. I was able to learn a lot from him, and I learned that I'm not as big as I thought I was. A pretty big boy, and he can move really quick too. That was my big takeaway from the entire match. Usually when you work a bigger guy, usually it's going to be a slow and more painful night. But with him, it was still a painful night. He was lightning quick, which that definitely took me back.
And I wouldn't want to get chopped by that dude. That dude's hands are huge.
Oh man.
Oh yeah, they're like the size of like an extra large frying pan. They're enormous.
When you like most of the names that you worked with are most of them pretty good guys and try to teach, or do you run into maybe some that don't try to teach the young guys?
I've been very fortunate that any name that I've worked, they've been cool to me. And, I'm fortunate, because I've heard stories of where it's been different for other guys. But for me, they've been pretty dope to me, and they've been able to teach me something, and they've been awesome. And I think it's the guys that come out with stories of like, oh, this name did this or this name did that. Well, they probably did something to make that said name upset, or who knows, maybe you just caught them on a bad day. I mean, usually those guys, they're being flown into a small town show, and they're probably running on 0 sleep, and they probably just got off their plane, and the last thing they want is the boys acting like a bunch fans around him. So, you know, so I get it. I guess I get it, but most of them, have to answer your question, have been awesome to me.
What can you? I know we've talked to you before, but I mean, now you've been in the business a little bit longer. I mean, you said I think you're in your second year, maybe even a little longer. Has it changed any? Can you look back on your career and any mistakes that you've made that you could tell younger wrestlers, you know, maybe not to do, or is it just something you have to, you know, go through and learn?
Yeah. So yeah, you're correct. Yeah, 2 years now, just a little over 2 years. I think the biggest thing that I wish that I did was try to wrestle out, like, out of the state more. It opens more doors for you. So, like, I really, other than WCWO and RCW and occasionally DCCW and I'm sure there's a few other places that I just can't think of off the top of my head. I don't really like wrestling in the state of Indiana anymore, and it's nothing personal. It's just like wrestled pretty much everyone there is to wrestle in the state, you know. So wrestling more exclusively on the East Coast, or it's in the Midwest, you know, in Michigan or in Illinois, just because I don't know, like, wrestling can get very boring when you're on the same card as other people. So if it requires you to go to Maryland, if it requires you to go to Jersey, if it requires you to go to Illinois, do it, because you're going to be wrestling different styles. You're going to be wrestling different guys, and when you're wrestling the same guy every, it's easy to get complacent, and it's easy for it to get boring, and it's easy for you to lose sight of the challenge, you know. And I think there's a lot of people that have this issue, but they get comfortable being the big fish in a small pond. That's not a knock on Indiana professional wrestling, but it's just, you know, all right, cool, you're the best guy in Indianapolis. Who's the best guy in Chicago? You know, who's the best guy in New York? You know, who's the best guy in LA? Who's the best guy in Miami? Who's the best guy, you know? And if you don't know that, haven't wrestled in those places, then shame on you. So just get in the car and just travel at other places, and you know, get just make connections, you know, just make connections. And another thing too is, if you feel like at a show, someone wise just told me this in a locker room not too long ago, if can't get better at a place, and if you're not having fun, then you move on. Like, those are the two reasons. Like, if you're not getting better, if you're not fun, you don't need to be there anymore. You need to try something new. So that is the biggest thing.
Have you been, like you said, that some different styles at different places? Can you name a place that you've been that the style was really a lot different than Indiana?
Yeah, CZW in Maryland. You know, that's I guess the style you could say is more indie. You know, it's a lot. And when you say indie, like indie riff, I guess is like the smart mark term. You know, it's not just flips. You know, it's more of strike exchange. It's a lot more, you know, quick, lightning fast. You know, a lot of reversals, and that's a place that really challenged me. You know, because I was just used to working just, you know, the TV style, and you know, I that was just a big 180. And I even remember early in my career, well, I'm still early in my career, but like last year working at IWA Mid South, you know, like, they hit each other, like, it's there. And like, you know, it's getting the crap beat out of me every single Thursday night made me be like, okay, you know what, it's going to make me tougher, and you know what, maybe I should start hitting people too. So, like, those two places are the first two places that come to mind that, like, we're like, okay, this is different, and I need to get a lot better. So yeah, so those would be two places that are a lot different than anything that I ever, like, or had.
Can you name who your toughest opponent has been, and then also maybe your favorite opponent has been?
His opponent. Oh, and this is a name that I forgot to mention. Shame on me. Rohit Raju. He's the toughest opponent I've ever had. That guy is perfect. He has the physicality. He has the stamina. He is a freak. And I think he's by far the toughest opponent I ever had. You know, I thought I could go the distance with some guys, but Rohit was a guy where I was like, oh, okay, on the treadmill, you know, I need to, you know, be going a little bit harder. and he was probably the toughest. And then what was the second question? You said like who hit the hardest or
Maybe your favorite opponent.
favorite opponent? I mean that changes. Um, that changes a lot. You know, I feel like I go through phases of certain people that that I enjoy wrestling. You know, Jarrett Diaz and New York CZW as well. He's a guy that I love wrestling because him and we were actually college football teammates, and now we're both wrestling. And he's someone who always loved wrestling. A local guy that I always get excited about working is Logan Myers, and he's been busting his ass off. Like Logan's gotten so much better. Like I was in a triple threat with him last week, and I haven't wrestled him in a couple of months. Just because him and I have been on completely different shows as of late. Like I haven't been on the same show for him. That was my first week back at WCWO for a little bit. And I got to the back and I didn't get the chance to talk to him because I had 2 other matches that night to prepare for. But I called him after the show and I was like, man, you've gotten so much better. Like that's a guy everyone needs to be watching because like his character development, you know, he's been busting his ass off in the ring behind the scenes. I'm really excited for him, and I hope I get to work with him one-on-one. I always love wrestling IK3 because I think IK3 is the closest thing that Indiana has as like a East Coast guy, and it makes sense because he used to work for CZW several years back. So I like wrestling him because whenever I feel like him, it's just like okay, it feels like I'm not, you know, just wrestling, you know, just a normal indie show. And so he's always fun to wrestle with. JKO, man, he's always fun. He's an old school guy, but him and I always end up doing some crazy shit. You know, Calvin Tankman's always a joy. But I think someone asked me this not too long ago. I think my new all-time favorite opponent is Matt Cross. Him and I had a match at RCW, and it was just perfect. It was one of those nights where just kind of everything clicked. But those are some guys that I definitely enjoy wrestling.
When you go to these like different states and stuff, is the locker room atmosphere the same as like in Indiana, or is it different?
Yeah. No, I mean it's about the same. I mean, obviously, like on the higher indies, you know, sometimes they're a little different, but for the most part, it's still in the locker room. There's still a lot of body odor and not enough guys wearing deodorant and and guys just doing the thing. So I see Logan's comment there, but no, it's all about the same for the most part. I would say same locker room talk and everything. And
When you go to
with the
like a new place like
what's
that,
that?
like when you go into a new place like that you haven't been before, are the locker rooms usually welcoming to a new guy or?
It depends. I mean, like some places there's this guy. So, you know, you find your opponent, you make friends with him, but sometimes it's like the more often they see you, the more easier it is. So, you know, so in the locker room, usually I try to keep to myself for the most part. I'm not like a social butterfly. You know, I try to keep it all honest.
Going to a new state like that and being the new guy, you think that some people that's been there for a while may, I don't know if upset's the right word, but I don't know the right term necessarily. You're coming in, could they be worried for their spot, that type of thing?
Or kind of be
Oh
like
no, I mean,
jealous of the opportunity.
there's always see. I feel like in every single locker room, and you know, and it can be different. It can be a young guy, it can be an old guy. You know, like I remember the first time I made all my. I didn't say I was friends with my opponents. You know, I didn't say that, Logan. But sorry, Logan made me lose my train of thought. What was your guys' question again?
He was asking like if you go to a new place, do people kind of maybe get mad if you get like a main event match
Oh,
and you're the new guy
yeah,
and they've
no.
been
I
there
mean,
for a while?
it's happened to me before. You know, I remember the first time. It was actually the night I was working TJ Perkins. I'm not gonna name who it was that was saying this, but they were like, "Yeah, like you know, let me know if this kid's bothering you." And he's like, he's not. And he's actually really good. And that's what DJ Perkins said. And that was awesome to hear. So, I mean, yeah, there's always going to be guys like that. You know, there's always going to be those guys. And I don't really let it get to me. You know, I'm just like, all right, well, you know, if you think you should be in this spot, like, prove it. Like, go out there and have a better match than me. You know, go out there and get a better reaction than me. So
well, there's a
that's
reason
kind of
why
how I always see it. I'm a
I'd
chip
look
on the
at it
shoulder
like
kind
there's
of
a
guy.
reason why they brought me here and didn't give you this spot. I mean,
Yeah, you know, and I'm grateful about it. You know, I'm not going to be braggadocious about it. You know, am I going to post a match graphic and that? Yeah, I absolutely am. But, you know, I'm not going to go in there. You know, it's not like on Saturday I'm going to go in there and you know, and just say, hey, I'm Blake. And by the way, I'm wrestling Heath Slater. Like, I'm not going to do that. So,
yeah,
you know, I'm appreciative of the opportunity. So, but, and I think in anything in life, you know, like not even wrestling, but also business, like there's always someone at your office that's going to get mad if you get promoted to a position that they wanted. So, and I feel like wrestling is kind of the same way.
how does your mindset change if you're like wrestling a regular Indiana show to like wrestling like Heath Slater? Did your mindset change like going into that match?
Yeah, I mean, the mindset's still there. You know, I still, regardless of it, you know, I just, I always want my match to be the loudest. That's always a personal goal of mine. But
Is it more pressure?
But yeah, you know, I would say if I was, I mean, yeah, like for example, like Saturday, the entire day, my mind's gonna be racing and I'm gonna be excited. But you know, I'll still be calm, cool, and collected going into it. You know, and I think I'll be excited for both. And I think the second anyone ever stops getting excited or stops getting those butterflies, like that's when it's time to hang it up. So, you know, I like, for example, like I'm tremendously excited for both matches this weekend. So, so yeah, I would say it's a little bit about the same. Just I'll probably be a little more nervous on Saturday, but I'll be ready to go.
You've worked with Vinny before, right?
I have, yeah. So I wrestled last week in the main event, and then I wrestled him. Actually, his first match back at the Dub, like 5 or 6 months ago. I think it was early in the summer. I wrestled him, and then I wrestled him very early on in my career, like very early on, like probably like my first 30 matches were against him. So this will be the 4th time that I'm wrestling him.
That should be a pretty interesting match. I know. I was wanting to make it down there, but don't look like I'm gonna be able to make it this weekend. But that should be a real good match. Should be a real good card. I've seen the card, so it should be a lot of fun. Hopefully the crowd will turn out and it'll be a great show.
Yeah, and if you're
oh, sorry, go ahead. You're good.
Oh, I was just gonna say, if you're watching this and you're in the Indianapolis area, go check out WCWO tomorrow night, 1151 Kentucky Avenue. They put out a great product every Friday night. So if you're in that area, go support them.
Yeah, and it'll be, you know, you'll be well entertained throughout the entire show. I believe me and Vinny will be main event, but Logan and JKO, that'll be great. You know, Dalton Love and Jordan James, that'll be great too. So it's a lot of stuff. And then, you know, usually they do like a Halloween oil, and that's always fun. Like I hope Corey Storm's there. Usually if Corey Storm's there, he dresses up as Hulk Hogan every year, and it's hilarious. So yeah, no, definitely come on out. You know, it'll be a real good time.
Logan said, "Yeah, come watch me stick it to the man."
Yeah. It's really weird. The other day, he I don't know. He loves saying stick it to the man this week. I don't know what's going on here. So he's just really out of what's going on with him and Joey, but they just don't like each other right now. So I don't know. Maybe Joey told Logan that he's a Nickelback fan or he likes Rob Zombie, but those are two of Logan's least favorite things. I don't know. Logan's kind of fuck now. We used to be roommates, but you know, he was always just, you know, drunk and being a schmuck, and you know, he's a schmuck. There's a reason why we don't live with him anymore. He's got an ego, and he's an egomaniac now. So there's something about lizards that he likes now too. I don't know what the whole entire lizard thing is, but he loves lizards.
Yeah, he's the Lizard King. I've heard that a few times here lately. You
Yeah,
mentioned
I don't know. I guess he really like. I don't know. I think he's sponsored by Geico or something. I don't know.
uh, earlier you mentioned Warrior Pro Wrestling. We haven't seen you there for a while. Will you be making a return back to Warrior Pro?
I'm not quite sure. You know, I've enjoyed time there, but as of right now, no. I don't have any immediate plans to be back there. Just I've been to other places the days I'm running. Um, so I mean, never say never, but who knows? But as of right now, no, I will not be. I will not be there this month.
Jake Carter said, "Holy shit, boys! Is that Luke Combs?"
No, I don't know who. I don't even know who Jake Carter is, bro. Blake was getting drunk.
Logan said you were getting drunk on Friday nights.
Something like that, man. Something like that. So yeah. So, but
Combs,
yeah,
he says, "I'm dead."
but I don't know, Jay. I don't know who this Jake Carter is, guys. I have no idea who he is. So, it's that one kid that I gave the match of his life to. That's right. I almost forgot. Yeah, he's kind of like a Make-A-Wish kid these days, I think. So, is he still their champion there? I haven't really heard a whole lot about that place.
Yes, he still is.
Oh, okay. Wow, that's crazy. Good for him. Good for him.
Vinny says incorrect. Luke Combs has a future.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Damn.
Have you ever competed against?
I listen to rap, so I think it's because I'm wearing like a country style hat. I don't know. Maybe that's what it is. Who knows? And now I have a beard, so I don't know. Maybe that's what it is.
Have you ever competed against Nate Matthews?
No, I have not competed against Nate Matthews actually. Or actually, yeah, I take it back. Yeah, I have. It was at a New Wave Pro show, and it was in a triple threat match. It was me, him, and Gaston LaRue. So, and that too was a while back ago. That was actually during a pandemic show, so there was like no fan in the crowd. It was a empty arena recording, but no, that's the only I've ever wrestled. So
Yeah, I would like to see that. I would like to see a one-on-one match between you two. I think that'd be really good.
yeah, I'm sure it'll happen. We've been on a few shows together, but yeah, surprisingly, it hasn't came to fruition. I'm sure eventually it'll come together.
Can you name a place anywhere? I don't care if it's in Indiana or probably gonna be out of the state that you haven't been yet that you're really targeting and you want to go to.
So I won't give you the cheesy answer because I feel like anyone that you ask this, they're like, "Oh, I want to go to WWE or I want to go to AEW." It's like, well, no shit. So for me, and I won't name Japan either. If independent promotion, I think working PWG, working Bola would be dope. Or even GCW. I know GCW is coming down to the arena later this year, so I think that would be awesome. Or potentially wrestling the other Warrior Pro Wrestling. It's usually based in Chicago. Usually they bring like an all-star like roster. So I think to name any of those three, those would be three places that I think would be super cool to wrestle for. Or WXW and Rennie. My buddy Jarrett just worked there. He spoke so highly of the place and how awesome it was. So I think those would be four places that I'd really like to compete for.
You mentioned the game changer. Have you ever done any of those death matches?
Yeah, I've done one, and it's one too many. So yeah, I don't plan on ever doing that. I think that my death match is done. So just they're terrible. They're rotten, and you know, no offense to any deathmatch guys out there, but I just don't see that as the pro wrestling that I enjoy. So, you know, I'll never have another one. So you heard it first here on GWR. I'm retired from death matches.
Yeah, we watched that one night. Who was the guy that got stabbed with that light tube? Hoodfoot.
Hoodfoot.
Yeah, Hoodfoot. Yeah, and Hoodfoot works a lot of. He's based in Indianapolis too, I believe. I've done a few shows with him in Indiana, and yeah, this is terrible. I think it got him in the arm, and it's just terrible. And like
It was
you
crazy,
hear
dude.
all these.
It just was laid open.
Oh
You
yeah,
could just see his skin flapping because we were watching the stream of it. It's like,
yeah,
oh man.
and it's a dangerous, man. Like people don't understand, like, you know, just one wrong move in any match, but especially in a death match, you know, when you're playing with glass and barbed wire and all that, like it can get pretty intense really quick.
Do you have a favorite stipulation match that you've been in?
Favorite stipulation match? That would be a match. But second favorite would be, I don't know. I feel like I had some of my best matches in a steel cage. You know, I had some real ones against Omen, AKO. Those are two that come up to the front of my mind. You know, those are matches that I was very proud of. I actually had another cage match against JKO earlier this summer, and that was pretty fun too. So yeah, I would probably say steel cage. That's probably my favorite, just because I don't know. I don't think I've ever had a bad one.
You know, I seen those ones with Jake Omen. Those were good.
Yeah, real good.
Yeah, no, those were definitely enjoyable, and
that was pretty early in your career, wasn't it?
yeah, that was. So let me think. So I was probably at that point in my career, because I believe it was like in April, probably about like 6-7 months. So that was really fun, and then also the outdoor elements, and you know, snowing, like a light snow going into it. It was dope for sure. So, I'd like to work another outside cage match in that type of weather again for sure.
Well, I know just me and Dad, we've been doing this a little over a year now, and you were on here real early when we first started, but just seeing like the improvement in all you guys, you and then everybody like at DCCW and WCWO, that young group, just watching the improvement you guys made since then to now, it's been amazing how like the progress you guys have made.
Yeah, you know, Blake,
Yeah,
Logan, Mike,
no, I mean,
Dutch Boy.
and I think a lot of the guys are very quick to try to, you know, to. I mean, I don't know. I mean, and really, I mean, a big person to think about that's Joey. I mean, Joey gives us a platform every single Friday to go out and compete, and you know, we're wrestling every single Friday, you know, and that's such a huge advantage to get the reps in, and you know, yeah, Joey's a huge person to give thanks for that. That guy busts his butt open to keep those doors open at 1151 South Kentucky Avenue, and you know, it's just a group of hungry guys, and you know, it's the more you do it, the better you are. And you know, we've got a great locker room of a lot of young talented guys, and at WCWO. So,
Anything else? Well, let's before we get out of here, let's tell. Why don't you tell everybody where they can find you at? You got social media stuff, merch, anything? You
yeah.
plug?
So, Blake Money Wright for most social media platforms. Instagram is what I use the most. And yeah, just follow me there. And this Friday night, come out to South Kentucky Avenue, or 1151 South Kentucky Avenue, the Outlaw Arena. Watch me beat Vinny for the title, hopefully. And then, you know, this Saturday at RCW at the Goodson Center, 7:00. It's going to be me and Heath Slater. So come on out, and you know, and if you can't make it to those two shows, support your local independents. So even if they don't book me, which shame on them if they don't. So just support independent wrestling.
Yes.
Yeah, support independent wrestling. There's shows on. I mean, every weekend that you can go watch wrestling if you're a wrestling fan. I mean, there's so many. And I didn't realize how many promotions there was in Indiana until we started doing this. And it's crazy how many different promotions there is.
Oh, for sure, yeah, and I'm looking forward to our trip to Cincinnati on the 2nd. That'll time, guys. So it's December 2nd, not November 2nd. But looking forward to that. That'll be a good time for sure.
That, I was going to ask you that. Have you been to that Cincy wrestling before?
No, this is my first time there, so I'm looking forward to it. I know I got Walter to thank for that. He helped arrange that. I think you guys did too, so I appreciate that. Looking forward to our road trip and any of those show shenanigans that we get up to.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it because it'll be one reason is it's going to be our first show, out of state show, so it'll be pretty cool.
Yeah, and the good news is Cincinnati's not too bad of a drive at all, so we'll be at the show and home blink of an eye. So,
all right, before we get out of here, I do want if you would please hit that subscribe button on YouTube at Gonzo Sports Room. We greatly appreciate that. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitch, Twitter, all at Gonzo Sports Room. Also check out the All Sports All Plays Network. Hit that subscribe button on YouTube for them. If you're a sports fan, I'm basically on there all day long, and they got a lot of other talented guys over on the ASAP Sports Network as well. It's been great working with them. Like this show tonight is being streamed on 7 different channels, so it's been a good partnership working with them. So make sure you hit that subscribe button for them as well. But Blake, you have anything else before we get out of here?
No, that is all. Just come on out tomorrow night to 1151 South Kentucky Avenue, and just local indies. And thank you guys for having me on, and be sure to keep on watching these fine gentlemen at GWR.
I appreciate it. Hey, you're welcome anytime.
Yeah, you're welcome anytime, man.
Awesome.
We need to get you on and talk some Colts football one time.
Oh, let's do it, man. Let's do it. You guys name it.
What do you think about the quarterback change?
Oh man, I mean, okay, so Matt Ryan, man, he was pissing me off for sure because I got Jonathan Taylor in fantasy this year, and I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's time for change for sure. I'm excited to see what Sam does. I hope we don't rebuild, man. I mean, all in all, to put it shortly, I think we've got the right general manager. I just think that terrible head coach and we had terrible quarterback play. So and you got to have those two things to be a successful NFL franchise. Hopefully with benching Matt Ryan and guy in, whether it's Sam or someone we draft or someone we acquire in free agency, and hopefully Frank's out. But Chris Ballard, I will say that. I like Chris Ballard. I don't think he's.
I like Ballard too, but I think hopefully Wright decides to hand the damn ball off to Taylor. I don't. You got the best running back in the league. You don't use him. 10 carries.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, no kidding.
But we appreciate you coming on. Like you're welcome anytime. Good luck this weekend. I know you're going to kill it because, like I said, we've seen you a bunch.
I appreciate that.
You're the one of the best ones around. So, but we will talk, and we'll see you in December.
Yep.
So hopefully we get down to the dub here in a few weeks. We wanted to go tomorrow, but we're not going to be able to make it. But we'll get there when we can. But looking forward to Cincinnati, and you have a good night.
Yeah, have a good night, man.
Hey, right on, man. You have a good one.
What happened?
All sports, all plays. Yeah. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making a plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays.